Hello, this is Lord Shell, writer, artist, and general loudmouth. This is the first in a series of videos about practical superpowers in the real world. I'm a nerd and I think about this a lot. I was reading Warren Ellis's Extremis. I was rereading it the other day. It's an Iron Man series. Um, Very good writing. You might want to check that out. You've probably seen the Extremis in the third Iron Man movie. Sort of the same thing. You get the idea. There's a nanotech that gets injected into you and gives you these super soldier abilities. Well, I was thinking if I had this nanotech, would I use it? Would I use it on myself? Would I get these superpowers? Because there is a risk involved. I mean, you could die from it. In the comic and in the movie, you blew up, which I never quite understood. But anyway, there's a risk, so why would I want to? Okay, well, how useful is the ability to be super strong and bounce bullets off your chest and um, run at super speeds? Because that's basically what he had. It was like the bargain basement Superman package. Um, well, other than demolishing buildings or winning bar fights, can't think of a lot of practical uses for that ability. Certainly nothing that would make you, wealthy and powerful, unless you just want to go the super villain route and threaten people because you're so strong and fast. But let's assume you want to do something productive with them. What do you do with these wonderful super strength, super speed, bargain basement Superman powers? Okay, well, let me digress for a moment. This will seem irrelevant, but you'll get the point. Why has there never been a nuclear war in the world? I mean, we've had nuclear weapons since 1945. Why has nobody ever used them in anger since then? Well, if you think about it for a second, you'll realize it's because the leaders have consequences. I mean, before you had nuclear weapons, leaders, kings, presidents, whoever, could send the soldiers out to get shot up in a war, and the only consequences to them were political, or maybe they slept bad at night because of the feels of all the people they just murdered by proxy. But there was no direct personal consequences to these people. Then came nuclear weapons. All of a sudden, there were real consequences. I mean, nuclear weapons don't care if you're a soldier on the battlefield or some schlub sitting in the Oval Office. A nuclear weapon goes off above you and you're toast. You get vaporized. And all the leaders knew this. So, because there were personal consequences to the leaders, they didn't really want to get in a nuclear war. It wasn't through any great competence on leadership or politics or anything. It was personal fear to them. So, in a nutshell, I mean, there are other socio-political reasons why we've never had a nuclear war, but that's the core of it right there. So what does that have to do with the super soldier extremist thing? Well, assuming you're the only super soldier running around and you're not going to get in a slugfest with, radioactive Batman or whatever superheroes are out there, you're the only one with these powers, you could have a direct personal impact upon politicians. Or in other words, example, let's say a judge is about to sentence a young boy to prison for the rest of his life. He's a nonviolent drug offender, and he's sending him into prison, a rape factory prison, for the rest of his life. Well, if you're Mr. Super Soldier guy, you just come up to the judge and you say, look, judge, you do this, and I'm going to break both your legs. Sounds ridiculous, but suddenly there's a real personal cost to the judge for using police power of the government to harm this kid who's never harmed anybody. So will the judge do it? Well, if he does, you can break his legs. Maybe other judges will think twice. Politician says he wants to go to war. Well, you go to the politician and you say, look, president, whoever, you go to war, and I'm going to break your arm. I'm going to dislocate your arm, whatever. Some sort of brutal damage to you. And they might think twice about starting a war because it's not just their politics that's the problem, it's their shattered humerus and other bones in them. Not very humorous. Yep. So at that point, they'll get the message that there are consequences to their actions. When they use the proxy force against other people, real force will be used against them. It will make them think twice. And you wouldn't even necessarily have to harm them physically. You could just say, I don't know, throw their car into the Potomac, level their house, give them real personal consequences to them in their life. Not political ones, not career problems, real problems to them. And I guarantee you, politicians will start getting the message. And if you needed to be financed, because I guess going around beating up politicians probably wouldn't pay too well, as satisfying as it might be, go on to Patreon, go on to Kickstarter, say, hey, if you like me punching out politicians, finance me. Finance my Kickstarter, finance my Patreon. You think you wouldn't get money? Oh, you get money. Anyway, rate this video even if you hate it. If you want to subscribe button is right down there. I also have links to my 3 published novels down below, so please go and buy them because I am poor, and I will see you folks later.